Hey, what's going on? If you have been playing Dying Light the Beast, this hotfix makes the survival loop feel a little more forgiving in the right places while also cleaning up a bunch of bugs that could get in the way of the fun. Techland says the update slows hunger drain while sleeping, lowers overall hunger depletion, and pushes the very hungry and famished states a bit farther out, which means you are not being pushed into starvation quite as aggressively as before. On top of that, vendors now sell improvised food bars, so there is a new little safety net for players who are struggling to keep their resources together. What is also interesting here is that the patch does not just make survival a little more manageable, it also improves how rewards and inventory work in the middle of action. Weapon blueprints from DLC bundles can now be upgraded to Legendary Rarity, which is a pretty nice upgrade for anyone who likes building out a favorite loadout instead of constantly swapping gear. And if a cutscene hands you a weapon while your inventory is full, the game should now move your lowest quality weapon into the stash automatically. If both your inventory and stash are already full, the lowest quality weapon is simply dropped on the ground instead, which at least makes the behavior predictable and stops the system from feeling messy in the moment. There is also a balance pass tucked into the update that should change the early night experience a bit. Level 1 night chases are now slightly easier to escape, which sounds like a subtle change, but for newer players or anyone just trying to survive a rough run, that kind of adjustment can matter a lot. Loot tables also got a boost, since rags and bandages now have a higher chance to drop from biters and virals. And that lines up perfectly with the other survival changes, because it gives players more ways to recover without turning the world into a free-for-all. Achievements and progression got attention too, and this is one of those areas where a patch can quietly matter a ton for completionists. Better Be Safe and Peacebringer are no longer completing automatically, which means players should actually earn them the way they were intended. Techland also fixed an issue where Days Survived could keep climbing after starting a race, and another one where Apex Predator could unlock without the proper volatile kill. Those kinds of fixes may sound very specific, but they matter because they protect the integrity of progression and keep the challenge tied to actual play instead of a glitch. Multiplayer got some much-needed cleanup as well. The crossplay connection problem between Steam and Epic has been addressed, and that is a big deal for anyone trying to jump into sessions with friends on different PC storefronts. The patch also fixes several cases where NPCs would become unresponsive during cooperative play, which should help sessions feel smoother and less broken when multiple players are moving through the same world together. A bunch of gameplay bugs were also ironed out. Ammo loot from ranged enemy types is no longer restricted in the same wrong way. Your equipped weapon should no longer fall off when entering the slasher arena, and the hunger meter no longer disappears during the beast encounter. The alpha volatile now behaves better during chase sequences in restored land. The night cycle no longer breaks after leaving to the main menu during challenges. And the game should no longer trap you in an infinite death loop if you wander outside the playable area during Roadkill Rally. Techland also fixed leftover vehicles staying on the track after retries and adjusted collision issues in the new Roadkill Rally events, which should make those races feel cleaner and less frustrating. There are still more fixes in the package, and honestly, this is where the hotfix starts to feel like a proper housekeeping pass. Leaderboards should now display correctly. The incorrect items found value has been fixed. The repeated restored area message after loading a save is gone. Item stacks should no longer shrink incorrectly when moved to the stash. Missing sound effects after loading a corrupted save file have been addressed. The mod tutorial should now appear even when the inventory is full. The volatile hive icon no longer falsely shows an incomplete state after clearing it. The extra damage feedback for bleeding mines, shock mines, and Molotovs has been restored, and several encounters that could freeze up have also been fixed. Put together, this update feels less like a flashy content drop and more like Techland tightening the bolts on the systems that matter most, especially for players spending time in survival mode, co-op, and Roadkill Rally.